Welcome everybody to the video on how to use a GPS unit. In this video we're going to use a GPS to find some different geocaches here just out past my backyard in Garden of the Gods. There's a lot of different GPS units out there that you can buy, and these are the ones that the college has. It's the Garmin Etrex 20, and it's proven to be a pretty good GPS unit. These days you can also download GPS apps on your phone, and you can buy just a bunch of different GPSs at the REI store. So first things first, the way to power the GPS unit on this right side of your GPS unit, you're going to see a power button. So you can go ahead and power that up, and that's going to take you to one of the main pages of the GPS unit. Now from here, you might decide to figure out what your battery life is at this point. So the way I do that is you go to that power again, just click it one time, and it'll tell you how much signal you have over here on the GPS, as well as the battery life. So typically if I have 1 or 2 bars on my battery life, I might replace my batteries. One of the next buttons that you have is this back button on the top right side. And what that back button is for is if you're ever in a specific screen and you want to go back to the main page, just go ahead and click that back button as many times as you need to get to the main page. You also have scrolling, where you can scroll up or scroll down on this left side, as well as you have kind of a little joystick here that goes up and down, as well as you can depress the joystick to select the specific item you're trying to select. So the next thing on here is the menu item, and that's something that can change the item orders or take you back to the main menu. So those are kind of the basic buttons of the GPS unit. One important thing to know on a GPS unit is how to change the datum as well as the coordinate format on a GPS unit. The coordinate format is like latitude, longitude, and UTMs. There's a bunch of different types of coordinates that we can put on a GPS unit. As well, we want to make sure that we have the correct datum to equal the datum on our map that we're using. So remember that there's different types of maps who have different datums on there. We'll want to make sure they're the same as the GPS unit. So to do that, you're going to go to Setup, and then scroll all the way down to Position Format. And then from there, you can change the position format or your coordinate system as well as the datum. So if I select here, you can see all the different types of coordinate systems in here. So we're going to be predominantly using the UTMs, as well as if we scroll all the way around, you'll see the first 3 are latitude and longitude. And in class we've talked about the fact that there's 3 different position formats for latitude and longitude, so make sure that you're selecting the correct one for the coordinates that you are going to be using. Whether it's full decimals, decimal degrees, or degrees, minutes, and seconds, just make sure you're using the correct coordinates. The next thing is a map datum. You can select the map datum and then use whichever map datum you're going to be using on your map. For this class and most stuff in the US, you're going to use WGS 84, as well as NAD, should go the other way, NAD 27 and NAD 83. So scroll all the way to those. You can see there's a lot of different ones that you can choose from depending on where you're at. There we go, so there's NAD 83, which stands for North American Datum. And you'll see with NAD 27, there's a bunch of different selections you can use. What we're looking for is NAD 27 Con US, and that just stands for Continental United States. So we'll select that, and we'll go back to the main menu to use those specific inputs. You're going to be marking different waypoints using your GPS unit. Some examples of some waypoints that you might want to mark. First, you might want to mark the trailhead of a specific trail that you're going to be going on, or maybe where you left your car. That's always a place that I like to mark on my GPS unit. You might also mark maybe where you're going to camp for the day or specific places that you're trying to get to. Today, when I'm geocaching, I'm going to mark specific geocaches that I'm trying to get to. So you can preload waypoints into your GPS unit. And in order to find the ones that you've loaded in there, or just to kind of see what's in there, you can select Waypoint Manager. And this will tell you all of the different waypoints that are loaded into your GPS units. I, however, am going to delete some of these. So I'm going to delete all of them so that I'm starting new. Great, so I have nothing in here, so I can load all of my waypoints into this GPS unit. So I'm going to go ahead and load some of the geocaches that I'm going to try to get to. This is one geocache that I printed off from my printer that's in Garden of the Gods. So you can see we have the name of the geocache. We also have the latitude, longitude coordinates, as well as UTM coordinates. We have the datum on there, and for most geocaching, the default is WGS 84. However, for our class, we'll also use some other coordinates or other datum, so NAD 23. You have a description of the geocache. This just tells you a little bit about the geocache. And then at the bottom, if you're having a hard time finding the geocache, there's usually a little hint here to try to help you find the geocache. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the coordinates up here, the coordinates into my GPS unit, as well as make sure that the datum is correct on my GPS unit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is check to make sure I have the correct datum and coordinates. I think I'm going to use UTMs for this one, so I'm going to go into there and change it to UTMs. Select that. And then for this one, it says the datum is WGS 84. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to WGS 84. Great, so now I have the correct position formats and the map datum on my GPS. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and load these waypoints into my GPS unit. So I'm going to take my GPS unit, and in order to load waypoints, we go down here to Mark Waypoint. So we'll select Mark Waypoint, and then as I scroll down, when I get to this 001 or whatever it is for you, that's just kind of the name. So you want to name it something that you're going to know. So I'm going to say, I'll say Geo for geocache. Put a space in, and then I'm going to put the name of it up there. 207, so I know what it is. Sorry, my finger's in the way. 07. So Geo 207. It's the same as that name. I'll go ahead and say done. And then I can go in here. I scroll down and I'm going to change my location. So I have 13S, and that's correct on here, 13S. And so I'm going to use my arrows to say that the 13S is okay. And now I'm going to start with a 051043. So 05051. I'm going to do 440510443. So I'm going to get those numbers in here. 0443, and then it's going to automatically bring me down to the next one. So 430224. So that's okay. 430 2, 2, 4, 4. Great, so I have the UTMs loaded in there. Click Done. And you can either click Map or Done. When I click Map, one thing to know is on our school GPS units, we don't have maps loaded in here because they're quite expensive for each unit. So if you do click on Map, it's just going to kind of bring you to an arbitrary place where you might be able to see where it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and click Done. So if I want to see that waypoint, I can go into Waypoint Manager and I see that I have it here and I can open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load I have 3 total geocaches that I'm going to find. So I'm going to go ahead and load the other 2 in here. Okay, let's check to make sure that all my waypoints are in here for my geocache. Great, so I have 3 of them in there, and that's what I was looking for. Okay, one of the next things that I like doing, that you don't have to do, but one of the things I like doing, is I like actually plotting out my geocaches or my waypoints on an actual map so that I can get an idea of where that point is in a specific area. That'll help me to figure out the contour lines and what I should be expecting. Therefore, I can figure out where to hike. Because one thing about GPS units is it'll tell you how to get from one point to another in a straight line, but it's not going to tell you the best way to get there. So since I don't really want to go through any rivers or over any gigantic boulders, I might use my map to help me figure out what to expect. So one cool thing that I can do is, since I have already uploaded all of my points into my GPS unit, I can go ahead and change or alter, sorry, the color's weird, change or alter the datum, and that'll automatically change all the datum for the waypoints that I put in there. So I'm going to check my map to see what datum we're going by, and down here on the bottom got NAD 83. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my GPS unit, set up, and I am going to make sure that I'm in NAD 83. And once I get to NAD 83, I'm going to stay with UTMs because I think UTMs are a lot easier to plot on a map than latitude, longitude. So there's NAD 83. Great, so all of the coordinates that I've put in here, I can then open them up and plot them on a map. So the first one that I have here, GeoUt, I'm going to go ahead and use those UTMs here, and I'm going to go to my map, and I'm going to use my handy UTM grid reader to find the UTMs of that specific location. Okay, so now you can see that I have pre-written my geocaches on my map. So now I know that I'm going to go to this 207 as well as this one. They're really close together, so I'm going to hit one and then hit the other. And then I'm probably going to hike along some of these trails over to this one over here that's just to the west of this road here. So that's kind of my plan. So again, mapping it out on my map was really helpful to see where all of them are and how to hit one before the other, or matching a couple of them up together, as well as what trails I might take and what topography I might expect in the area in order to get to those geocaches. Okay, so here I am at one of the trailheads for Garden of the Gods Park. So one thing that I like to do whenever I'm starting on a hike or a backpacking trip or a ski trip is I always like to make note of the waypoints for where I leave my car or where the trailhead is. So just in case when I go back, if it's really dark, windy, snowy, anything like that, my GPS unit can point me back to the trailhead. Okay, so in order to mark my waypoint for the trailhead, I'm just going to simply go to Mark Waypoint, and that is the trailhead. So I'll go ahead and I will change the name to Trailhead. Okay, so now I want to find my first geocache. So the way that I do that is I'm going to go to the Where To button. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go to Waypoints. And then after I select that, I'm going to select the waypoint I want to go to. And so for the first waypoint I'm going to go to is Geocache 207. So I'll go down there, I'll click that, and it shows me where 207 is going to be. Again, if you have the maps downloaded, this will be a little easier. If you don't have them downloaded, it's still helpful, and I can use the maps I have in my pocket. But I'm going to press go once, and then I'm going to actually use my back button to get to this page. And as soon as I get to this page, I'm going to actually go to the compass, and the compass is going to help to tell me where to go. So as soon as I have the compass here, I actually have to start walking, and it'll tell me which direction I need to go in. If I stay straight, if I stay standing, it might get confused about which direction to go. Okay. But if I start walking, my GPS unit, it's going to tell me a lot of things. It's telling me, you can see the arrows telling me the direct line from where I'm at to the actual geocache. It also tells me the speed that I'm going, what time I should get to my destination, and the distance to my destination. So at 0.39 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to follow the GPS and use my map to find the geocache. Okay, I just got a beep from my GPS and it changed screens. Let's see if it'll do it again, which means I'm really getting very close. So I'm getting really close. So it's somewhere in here. So now you search to see if you can find the geocache. Okay, so I'm searching for the geocache. I know by reading the piece of paper that it's really small. And a lot of times people like to hide them in these trees. So I'm looking in the tree, see if I can find anything. And a lot of times they're camouflaged really, really well. Oh, I see it. It's tiny. See if you can see it. Right there. So that is the geocache. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down, and I'm going to sign it, which is what you do with geocaches. So take it down. And now that I've made it to the geocache site, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this sucker. Here's a tiny little scroll where people have signed their name. I'll just go ahead and... Okay, so I'm ready to find my next geocache. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go up to where to, and I'm gonna say stop navigation because I don't want to find this one anymore. And then I'm gonna go to the next waypoint. So I'm gonna go to Ute since it's only 0.1 mile away, so it's not too far. So again, I'm gonna select it, press it once, go back to the main screen, and go to compass. And then as soon as I start walking, it'll tell me which direction to go. Okay, I'm getting close. Pointing me over here. So I've had a heck of a time finding this one. So what I did is I pulled out the piece of paper that I printed that had the information about the geocache. On the bottom you can see that it has some like a little hint, and so they write out just a bunch of gibberish, and then you have to use the key to figure out the answer to it. So the answer that I got was Tiny Tot, a handicap for those with some defense. Not sure what that means, but you got 2 handicap spots here, so I'm going to see if I can find something around here for them. So now I'm going to find my way back to the trailhead. So all I'm going to do is get to my GPS unit, same thing, press where to go, go to waypoints, and then hit trailhead. Click it once, and then go back to compass. And then I'll start hiking. That should take me to the trailhead. And I made it back to the trailhead. I'm a little sad that I didn't find my second waypoint and I didn't have time for the third waypoint, but at least I did find one and found my way to number 2. I think I'm gonna go back tomorrow to try to find it.